Somewhere in America right now, a 28-year-old is sitting in a dealership signing paperwork for a $42,000 SUV. He makes $58,000 a year. He has $1,200 in savings. He has not done the math, and the salesman across the table absolutely has. That signature is about to cost him more than he will earn in the next year. And the worst part is, he will drive off that lot feeling like he won. This is not a story about one bad decision. This is a story about a system that was specifically designed to make that decision feel normal, feel smart, and feel necessary. And it has been running quietly in the background of the American economy for over 70 years. Let us talk about the car payment. Not the car, the payment. Because here is what almost nobody tells you. The car payment is not a financial tool. It is a financial anchor. And tens of millions of people have one clipped to their ankle right now, wondering why they cannot seem to get ahead. In 2024, the average monthly car payment in the United States crossed $735 for a new vehicle. The average loan term hit 72 months. That is 6 years. And the average interest rate on those loans climbed above 9%. Run those numbers, and the average American is committing roughly $53,000 to a vehicle that will be worth maybe $18,000 by the time the loan ends. That is not transportation. That is a subscription to being broke. But to understand why this keeps happening, you have to understand where it started. And it starts not with cars, but with a very clever shift in how we were taught to think about money. Before the 1950s, buying on credit was considered embarrassing. Debt was something you avoided. Then General Motors created the General Motors Acceptance Corporation, GMAC, and they figured out something extraordinary. If you stopped selling people cars and started selling people monthly payments, you could charge far more for the same product without the customer ever really noticing. They were right. A car that costs $40,000 sounds like a lot of money, but $650 a month? That sounds like a cable bill. It sounds manageable. It sounds like just another line in the budget. And that reframing, that tiny psychological trick, became the foundation of a multi-trillion-dollar lending industry. The dealership is not in the car business. Not really. The dealership is in the financing business. The car is just the product that generates the loan. Here is how the mechanics actually work, and this part matters. When you walk into a dealership and you get approved for a loan, the dealership does not just connect you to a bank and walk away. They mark up your interest rate. The bank tells the dealer you qualify for 6%. The dealer tells you the rate is 9%. That 3% difference goes directly into the dealership's pocket. It is called a dealer reserve. It is entirely legal, and it almost never gets mentioned. So before you have driven 1 mile, you have already paid a hidden fee that exists purely because you did not know to ask about it. Then there are the add-ons, extended warranties, gap insurance, paint protection packages, tire and wheel coverage. Each one gets folded into the loan, which means you are not just paying for the product. You are paying interest on the product. For years, a $1,500 extended warranty at 9% over 72 months costs you closer to $2,100 by the time the loan matures. And that is assuming the warranty was worth buying in the first place, which statistically, it usually is not. But none of this is the most damaging part. The most damaging part is something called depreciation, and it works against you from the moment you agree to anything. A new car loses somewhere between 15 and 25% of its value in the first year alone. By year 3, it has lost roughly half. The loan, meanwhile, amortizes slowly, which means in the early months, almost all of your payment goes toward interest, not principal. So the car is losing value faster than you are paying off the debt. This creates a gap where you owe more than the car is worth. It is called being underwater. And according to recent data from Edmunds, Nearly 1 in 4 Americans who finance a new car are underwater on that loan right now. Many of them do not know it, and here is where the trap becomes a cycle. When those people decide they want a different car or need one, they do not pay off the loan first. The dealership offers to roll over the remaining balance into the new loan. So now they are financing a new vehicle plus the leftover debt from the old one. They drive away thinking they made a fresh start. They actually made the hole deeper. There are people in this country carrying $8,000 worth of rolled over debt from a car they no longer own, on top of a full loan for the car sitting in their driveway. And they are making one monthly payment that bundles it all together so neatly they do not even see it. Now zoom out for a second. What does a $735 monthly car payment actually cost someone who is 28 years old? Not just the $735. What does it cost in opportunity? If that same person invested $735 a month from age 28 to age 58 in a basic index fund, returning a historical average of 8% annually, they would have roughly $1.1 million at retirement. The car will be gone in 6 years. The opportunity it consumed will take 30 years to fully understand. This is not to say that everyone who buys a car they cannot afford is reckless or uninformed. The system is genuinely designed to obscure cost. The monthly payment model exists specifically to sever the psychological connection between the number on the sticker and the number leaving your account every month for the next 6 years. The average American household spends more on transportation than on food, more than on healthcare. It is the second largest household expense in the country, behind only housing. And unlike housing, a car produces no equity, no return, no asset. It is a pure consumption expense dressed up in metal and leather and a very appealing new car smell. Manufacturers know this. Lenders know this. Dealerships know this. And the entire ecosystem, from the TV commercial showing you a rugged truck on a mountain road to the finance manager sliding a menu of add-ons across a desk, all of it is calibrated to one outcome: getting you comfortable with a number. Monthly. There is also a cultural dimension here that is hard to overstate. The car you drive has been positioned in American culture as a signal of status, success, and identity in a way that almost nothing else has. We do not feel personally judged by the brand of refrigerator we own, but the car in the driveway, that is a statement, and marketers have spent decades making sure it stays that way. So, when someone chooses the $42,000 SUV over the $18,000 sedan, they are not always making a financial calculation. They are making a social one. They are managing how they feel about themselves and how they believe others see them. And that is an infinitely more powerful motivator than any interest rate. The trap is not just mathematical. It is psychological. It is cultural. And it is reinforced at every level of the transaction. There are people who have done the math and still choose the nicer car. That is a valid choice when it is a conscious one. But for most people buying on a 72-month loan at 9% with rolled over negative equity and a $2,000 warranty they did not ask for, the math was never part of the conversation. They were sold a feeling. They paid for it with years. The question worth sitting with is this: if the car payment were presented to you not as $650 a month, but as $46,800 over 6 years, for an asset that will be worth $14,000 when you are done paying, plus $8,400 in interest, would you still sign? Most people would not, which is exactly why no one frames it that way. The dealership is not your enemy. The lender is not a villain. They are businesses operating inside a system that has been optimized over decades to extract maximum value from your monthly cash flow. Understanding how that system works does not make you cynical. It makes you dangerous to them. The real question is not whether you can afford the payment. It is whether you can afford to keep confusing the payment for the price.